Greetings and salutations, internet friends, and welcome back to another episode of the First Time Film Club. My name is Emily, your titular, wink, first timer. This is Matthew, my husband, Cinema Sherpa, and viewer-submitted title, Cinesage, your personal film oracle.
Oh, makes me sound all mystical.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun to pretend.
Yeah.
That one was submitted by Mike and Nim. I think that's what that is supposed to say.
Yeah, Mike and Nim.
Mike and Nim. Thank you so much. You too can submit titles for Matthew by dropping them in the comments. If you use hashtag title, it makes it a lot easier for me to find, and I greatly appreciate it. You know what else I appreciate? Pippin. Meow, meow, meow. He's our little cat. He's fantastic. He loves naps. Most of the time naps up here, but sometimes naps on the floor, so if he disappears, that's where he went. For those of you joining us for the first time, hello. What we're doing here is watching our way through a very long list of movies that typically I've never seen, but that Matthew has, i.e. Cinema Sherpa. That being said, I'm not sure where we landed on this one, if you've seen it or not.
I have not seen it.
Okay. This was one of our Just Some Superfan Patreon picks, so patron, thank you for your pick. Matthew, what are we watching?
Today we are watching the 1960 science fiction adventure, The Time Machine.
Whee!
As per usual, I give the year, genre, and title. You go in whatever you already know, then we watch the movie and review it. That's the case for both of us today, so what do you know about The Time Machine?
I know that there was a remake at some point, and that there's probably a time machine and the guy goes back in time. I'm making some bold assumptions, but that's what I think. I don't really know anything about this.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this. I know this is from a story by H.G. Wells.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't read that story either. I've read War of the Worlds and Island of Dr. Moreau and The Invisible Man, but I never got around to The Time Machine. So just one of those. I'm going to be watching the movie before reading the book, so I'll go back and read the book after this. Anyway.
Sometimes that helps me, honestly, because then I can visualize characters a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a weirdo though. But yeah, that's what I know. That's what you know.
Yep, that's it. The only other thing for first-time viewers is you may see me with my phone in my hand at some point during the movie. That's because I'm taking notes on things to talk about afterwards. And with that being said, ready to watch.
Let's go. A George Powell production. Oh, Rod Taylor, Alan Young. I'm sorry.
Are you going to do this for all the names?
No, I'm going to be good. I do love older movies. God, it's just the tone was so rich. Does that make sense? Golly gee. Dang, boy, get some clocks.
It's a chair, I swear.
Oh. Good Lord.
I say...
Oh.
I say it's outright rude of the man.
Oh, my.
He's merely being detained.
Oh.
How long has he been gone?
Several days. But he did tell me about dinner tonight, sir, and left those instructions.
Thank you, Mrs. Watchett. If he's not here by 8 o'clock, then we're to begin without him.
Walter, what time is it?
You really asking that? You
Yes.
really asking that? Oh my God. Oh, he's not doing well.
I've got to tell it now, David, while I still remember it.
Relax. Try to relax. You've all the time in the world.
Time.
Ever since we were together 5 days ago. It's the last day of 1899.
Oh.
There in that box rests the result of 2 years' labor. It has to do with time.
I've always maintained what this nation needs is a reliable timepiece.
I don't think George is referring to a new type of timepiece.
Oh, I just listen to you talk all day, honey.
When I speak of time, gentlemen, I'm referring to the fourth dimension.
What?
Go on, George.
Oh, he's a good friend.
Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension? When it comes to time, we are prisoners. Do you follow me, Bridie?
No,
I
wait.
don't think they do.
No.
At least he's honest.
All I'm asking you to do now is to witness a demonstration of the possibility of movement within the fourth dimension.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Oh. Aw, it's adorable.
This is only a small experimental model, of course. To carry a man, a larger edition is needed.
Carry a man? Where?
You mean when?
I say, George, you're going to start floating about in the future. Aren't you going to rather mess things up for the rest of us?
You know, that's the most important question to which I hope to find an answer. Can man control his destiny? You can spare a cigar, I trust, Doctor? Let us imagine that this cigar is the time traveler.
Oh, look at it go. Oh! Whoa! Whoa. Ah.
No more drink for me.
Do you really expect us to believe such a story? You yourself just said that it hadn't really moved.
That's correct.
Well, then why can't we see it?
Because we're in this room on the 31st of December, 1899, but the model we just saw is perhaps 100 years away by now.
Somebody 100 years in the future is about to get freaked out.
All right. Suppose what you say is true. What do you expect us to do with such a contraption?
For my part, I intend taking a journey into the future. Or perhaps the doctor would volunteer to go.
Harumph.
We're practical men, businessmen. Even if you had invented a time machine or whatever you call it, what of it? What use would it be to anyone?
What?
There's a war on, in South Africa. The Boers are putting up a pretty stiff fight. Now, I can put you in touch with the War Office if you wish.
I'm all set, thanks.
What do you think, David?
Dr. Hilliard has a good point, George.
Are you all right, George?
No, this man just made the greatest discovery of mankind.
And y'all just like, but who would want to buy it? Are you kidding me?
What use is it, and how can we market it and profit off it?
George,
Oh, you're still here, yeah.
I thought I'd better stay.
Aw.
You've been behaving oddly for over a month now. You've changed, George. Enormously. Why this preoccupation with dying?
It's a good question.
All right, if you want to know the truth, I don't much care for the time I was born into. It seems people aren't dying fast enough these days. They call upon science to invent new, more efficient weapons to depopulate the earth.
Sugar, the future don't look much better.
If that machine can do what you say it can, destroy it. Destroy it, George, before it destroys you.
You must have plans for New Year's Eve, David. Don't let me keep you.
Thought we'd stay home with the baby.
Oh.
Why don't you come home with me? You haven't seen wee Jamie for a long time. Will you promise you'll not go out of the house tonight?
I promise.
Promise you I won't walk out the door.
He's a good friend.
Please don't think me unkind. Look, just come over to dinner next Friday, will you?
And supper in tonight, sir.
Why don't you take the evening off and celebrate?
Well, thank you, sir, but if you're not needing me, I think I'll turn in early and get some sleep. If I can.
Yeah, let's just say good luck. Will you start bringing me a dressing robe when it, becomes evening? So that I can... Why?
Because I will have a dressing room.
Well, I'll bring you one if you bring me one.
I see.
And we'll do tradesies.
All right.
I like that. Oh, wow. So, seeing this now, there's an episode of Futurama. It's very similar to this. So. But what makes it do? Do you know, Pippin?
So I just woke up. Don't ask me
It's like
questions like
one
that.
side of his face is kind of like smoosh.
First, I pushed the lever forward ever so slightly, and the laboratory grew faint around me. I stopped. The clock said 6:31 when I started, and now it was 8:09.
Oh. Oh.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
To see a snail race by. Changes that normally took hours occurring in seconds. And as yet I was traveling very slowly. What if I went faster?
Be careful.
I found that I could stop for a day, an hour, or even for a second to observe. Thus I was able to see the changing world in a series of glimpses.
Oh.
Good heavens.
Good heavens.
That's a dress? I wonder just how far women would permit this to go.
Oh, boy. You are in for an experience.
A man has discovered time travel. And he's like, let's see what women's fashions look like in the future.
I love the combination of just time-lapse and stop motion.
And then suddenly the light was gone. In the year of 1917.
It's a lot of cobwebs to accumulate in 17 years. Whew.
Good Lord.
Dang, somebody combust in here? Seems dustier than it should be.
Well, that's how it was in those days.
Oh.
They also wore an onion on their belt.
That was the style.
Philby! Were you addressing me, sir? I think you're confusing me with my father, sir. There was quite a resemblance.
Was.
He was killed in the war.
What about the gentleman across the street?
He disappeared around the turn of the century. Well, my father was executor of the inventor's estate. Father just refused to liquidate it.
Oh.
We've been at war with Germany since 1914. Perhaps a cup of tea might make you feel better, sir.
Oh.
Won't you come in?
Like father, like
I was
son.
just to say, he's just good people, bred in him.
But you have a time machine.
Yeah,
You can go back and keep Philby alive.
No, that's not the point of it.
I know.
I don't know what the point of it is, but that ain't it.
Well, you could. The question is, should you?
No. You know the old saying, you know, like butterfly farts on a leaf and...
Nope.
I'm pretty sure that's it. Push forward. I have bad news for you. It don't get much better.
Suddenly, in 1940, I began to be buffeted from side to side.
Uh-oh. No, you don't want to stop it here, Shug.
Now in the air with flying machines. Then I realized the truth of the matter. This was a new war. I decided to push on into time and see the outcome of this.
Uh-oh.
The flames shot up into the sky and my home was gone in an instant. The years rolled by.
Oh. Pippin said that's too much for me.
Yeah.
But what was this? Weird sounds all around me. My curiosity compelled me to stop.
Oh, boy.
At first I wondered if my machine and I were the cause of the panic. Well, I was soon to find out that we weren't.
Oh. Oh.
Everybody needs a friend like Philby.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, young man, come on, come on. Philby? The name is Mr. Philby. Didn't you hear the air raid siren? You mean the horrible screeching? Wasn't constructed for its aesthetic value.
The gigantic strides that mankind has
Come along, young man. We'd better hurry or the mushrooms will be sprouting.
Hmm.
Look. Atomic satellite zeroing in. That's important.
That's important, yep.
Hi, till the all clear.
Oh, shit. Scared me. Damn.
The labor of centuries. Gone. But then Mother Earth, aroused by man's violence, responded with volcanic violence of her own.
Hmm.
That's cool.
I want to know, is that just like it's like a high pigment paint mixed with like sludgy stuff? I'm very interested to know the process here because I know it's a lot of model work.
My speed through time saved me from being roasted alive and encased in stone forever. I prayed, wondering how many centuries, how many eons must pass before the wind and rain could wear away the mountain that enclosed me.
Oh, jeez.
I wondered if there was still war being waged on the ground above me.
More than likely.
I was free again.
That's cool.
There was no winter, no wars, and man finally learned to control both the elements and himself. I had to stop and find out.
Jeez Louise. Oh, what's this? What's all this then? Oh. Well, that's not good.
But I'd stopped too fast.
Oh.
Where in the Zardoz are we now?
Man, see, I'd be scared to get off the thing because what if something happens to it? And then you're just stuck there. I think that's a good idea. Let's see. Do you think it's humans or is it some other creature?
No, I think it's still going to be humans. Just
maybe
an evolved form of human.
Smart. At least you got your key.
Flowers, beautiful flowers everywhere. The whole landscape, one vast garden without any sign of weeds or briars.
And I'd also be scared just because, like, those flowers may be poisonous to you because you're not from this time, you're not adapted to whatever's going on.
Haven't been immunized.
Sure. Immunized.
Immunized. I was in a spiral there.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd pull out, you'd get it, but nope.
No. Oh, you better look out. That's kudzu. That's deceptive.
That's the new form that's taken over the world.
Yeah. Sentient kudzu. Mad painting. Why would you do that?
Anybody here?
Oh. Oh. Got a theremin. You know something crazy's going on. The squash trees are coming in nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So this is man's future. To bask in the sunlight, bathe in the clear streams, and eat the fruits of the earth with all knowledge of work and hardship forgotten.
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh.
Nobody gonna help?
Well, don't just sit there, help her!
So is this like a society of, everybody just helps themselves? Only the
Maybe.
strong survive?
You all right?
So everybody, like, just zonked out of their minds? It looks like a bunch of young people.
Why did you come after me?
I did it to save your life. That doesn't seem to mean much to you or anybody else around here.
It doesn't.
Interesting.
I think perhaps you better take me to somebody a little older.
There is no one older.
What's your name?
Rena.
How do you spell it?
Spell.
Oh,
Lost all cultural.
all culture just became extremely simplistic. Stop learning?
Come, we must go now.
Oh, why? What's wrong?
It's getting dark.
Let's see. Is there another subset of humanity that's gone,
Oh, probably.
like,
They're still going to be at war
Feral?
with each other.
Perhaps curiosity has died, perhaps even courtesy has died, but I have come a long way and I would like to know a few things. Why? Where do you get your food and clothing? Doesn't anybody work?
No.
Well, you mean you have an economy so well developed that you can spend all your time studying and experimenting?
No,
is that
no.
right?
What is study?
Do you have books? Books?
What that? Just gonna, like, disintegrate. Yep. He gonna slap you.
You stop being curious, stop learning.
What have you done?
Me?
Thousands of years of building and rebuilding, creating and recreating so you can let it crumble to dust.
See, now what I would do is go back to the machine and back it up a few years. I want to see what made this happen.
Now we run into the other tribe of man.
Or if not man, the other dominant species. Uh-oh, they took your thing. They took your thing!
Son of a...
Are those people prints?
It's a squatch.
You think so? Oh, well. Who you? We got a slee stack situation here. What's going on? Oh. Oh, that's that girl, I think.
Think so?
She's pink. Yep.
You were right.
I came to warn you.
Wait, now how do you open that panel?
No one opens it. Only the Morlocks.
Yep.
They give us the food we eat and the clothes we wear. We mustn't be out in the dark.
Only little children are frightened by the dark.
Well, guess what they are?
And you are a little child, aren't you? I'd hoped to learn such a great deal. I'd hoped to take back the knowledge and the advancement that mankind had made. And instead I find vegetables. The human race reduced to living vegetables.
Oh, Lord.
Are you all right?
It's like, no, fool, I told you we shouldn't be out here after dark.
The fire seems to keep them away.
Don't touch it. Oh, you dummy.
What are you doing?
Never saw it before.
No knowledge of fire?
Dang.
No knowledge pretty much of anything.
But yet, we still have perfectly coiffed hair and beautiful makeup.
Well, that's just a product of evolution.
But you know, Weena,
Don't laugh at that.
I'm sorry. I have been so good so far.
I'm going to start calling you Weena.
Please don't.
Emo Weena. That's going to be in the comments now. Hashtag Emo Weena.
Stop it.
don't you people ever speak of the past?
Well, the past, man's past, is mainly a grim struggle for survival.
Still is. Seems like it.
A few voices have spoken up, and these rare moments have made the history of man's past, a glorious thing. I refuse to believe it's dead and gone. We've had our dark ages before, and this is just another one of them. All it needs is for someone to show you the way out.
That's a nice thought.
Mm-hmm.
Machines? You mean those animals run machines? Have you ever seen the machines?
No, only heard of them.
Well, who told you?
The rings.
What?
I'm assuming it's like a futuristic type DVD player type deal where information is created on the rings.
The war between the East and West, which is now in its 326th year, has at last come to an end. That I am the last who remembers how each of us made his own decision. Some chose to take refuge in the great cavern and find a new way of life far below the Earth's surface.
From the talking rings, I learned how the human race divided itself, how the world of the Eloi and the Morlocks began. The Morlocks maintained them and bred them like cattle, only to take them below when they reached maturity.
Oh.
That's their septic system. I know a manhole cover when I see one.
Listen.
He's about to Shawshank it.
Uh-huh. Oh, thank you. Be safe, Wiener. Oh.
What's happening? What's the matter with you all?
I mean, you heard it. They've been bred to be docile. Uh-oh. Well, there you go. Thing's open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you better hurry. See, if you would have not been pushing folks around, rusty old dummy.
What is wrong?
There is nothing wrong.
It is all clear. The middle 1900s, the falling bombs, the people calling out, all clear.
The rings have told us that story.
But you didn't listen. You didn't learn anything.
What
about the ones who went below? How do you think they're gonna come back?
They never come back.
Won't even one of you try? Well, I'll try.
I was gonna say, all right, well, I'll do.
So I'm going to assume that the Morlocks here is the ones that understood these talking rings.
At least to some extent. Well, what y'all doing? Uh-oh. Oh! Scared me.
So this was the destiny of the Eloi. They were being bred by the Morlocks, who had degenerated into the lowest form of human life, cannibalism.
Uh-oh. Ooh, oh, you got creepy eyes. Yeah, I bet when people saw this, they lost their shit. I mean...
Wake up! Come to your senses, all of you!
Ah! Oh, Lord. Oof. Oh, whoa, he got... Oh, Lord! Oh, goodness. Oh. Oh, no! My fire stick! Come on, kids, rise up! Rebel against your apathy.
Wiener, get the torch!
Come on, Wiener! Don't be a weenie. There we go.
There you go.
Hit him in the temple. Oh, Jesus.
It's a hell of a kick.
Oh, Lord.
All right, gather all the dead wood. Come on. All the wood. Come on, throw it down.
Oh, Lord.
Jesus. The hell kind of wood was that? Hope your time machine wasn't down there.
Just that I don't really fit here any more than you would in my time.
How do they wear their hair? The women of your time?
Up.
Would I be pretty?
Look! Look!
The time machine.
Well, that's handy.
Come on, Wiener!
Well, you better move it back to where it was. Yep.
You have the answer to your problem. You could literally just get in the time machine and go back an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was right. I told you they were squatches.
You were, yeah. Closer to Yeti, but I mean... Ew! Oh, Lord!
That's cool.
Now, technically, it should put him, like, outside of his house, basically. Because the machine was moved.
He shouldn't be in a laboratory.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. I was going to be like, continuity!
It's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard. Absolutely preposterous.
I think you ought to retire.
I can understand your doubt, my friends. Take it as a lie if you wish. I scarcely believe it myself now that I'm back. David, there's the flower Wiener gave me. You were always interested in botany. Try and match that with any species known today.
Smart.
I don't think I can.
Well, I
Time to go, Bridewell.
All right. Good night, George.
All right. Good night, George.
Yeah.
Time travel.
Nope.
Hey, Philby,
George. It's grand having you back.
don't go to the war.
Oh,
Goodbye, David. Thanks for being such a good friend, David.
you just gonna go back?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Philby, what?
He's gone. I think I understand.
Do you?
Weena was standing here when he last saw her. So he dragged his heavy machine back in here so that he could appear outside the Sphinx again.
On top of Weena.
It's not like George to return empty-handed, to try to rebuild a civilization without a plan. He must have taken something with him.
Books.
Which 3 books would you have taken?
Do you think he'll ever return?
He could.
One cannot choose but wonder. He has all the time in the world.
He could literally come back anytime.
Yeah.
Stop
All right, those 3
by
books
for
didn't work.
a cuppa. Yeah.
All right. So that was the time machine.
Mm-hmm.
Overall thoughts?
I would have used the time machine very differently.
How so?
I mean, that's the struggle with doing time travel movies, right? In theory, all of your problems could be easily solved by either going a little bit further in time or going a little bit back in time.
So any obstacle or problem that arises could be solved by your time. So
Yeah.
it's like, I get you.
Yeah, so it's a little hard to fight my, like, well, that's dumb, why did you do that? Gut reaction, you know? But overall, like, the concept of time travel and what I would do differently aside, I really did enjoy the movie. I said it very early on. I love, like, the tone or the color or just the aesthetic, I guess, of older movies.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it feels like warmer. I don't know.
Gives you a weird sense of nostalgia for something you've never experienced.
Exactly,
kind of like.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So I just appreciate that in general. I loved him, the George, the main character.
Him and Philby.
Yes.
Philby was great. Like I said, everybody could use a friend like Philby.
Philby was my favorite part of the movie. 100%. Like, the son, that was great. Like, that made me, like, tear up proper. It was really sweet. I loved the housekeeper. What was her name? Mrs. Watchett.
Mm-hmm.
She was fun. The friends, I just wanted to smack them around. My man, even if...
Like, I said it at one point that, like, time travel, how can you be so, like... Blasé about the, like, just apathetic. But, I mean, I get it from the story perspective of, like, they're businessmen, whatever, and, like, they don't believe it. So I get the apathy from that point. But I also, what I don't get is them being businessmen and saying, well, what could it be good for? What do you use? Like, how do you...
How have you been in business this long and not see what a huge opportunity this is?
Yeah, how do you not see, like, the profitability of having a time machine?
Yeah, so that was a little wild for me to try and accept with them being like, bleh. Like, no, are you kidding? Either one of two things, you know. Either your friend of years is sharing with you something very amazing and, you know, life-altering, or your friend is suffering a severe mental break, in which case... Neither of those instances, the response should be, like,
which is why Philby's such a great friend.
Exactly.
I think he erred on more of the side of, like he said, you haven't been yourself. Like, you mean, so maybe you should come hang out with me and the family. Like, he stuck around because he thought a friend was in trouble.
Yeah. I loved, story aspect aside, I loved the practical effects, the model work, the stop motion.
The time lapse, the, like, stop motion of, like, matte paintings, like everything, like this older school practical effects, it just has a certain charm to it.
And it just really, it makes me happy. I can't really, I think that pretty much puts it. It has a certain charm that is just so comfortable. I don't know how else to explain it, but I really appreciated it.
No, for me, it has a certain like charm, and it's endearing in a way because there was more effort put into it, like to create, like to do the model, to create everything for that like visual effect. As of today, it could be done in like 2 clicks.
And so I often feel like when we bring this up, practical effects versus computer effects, I feel like when I say that I appreciate practical effects, it is not to depreciate the value of CGI. Yeah. Because like that is the culmination of all of our ingenuity and intellect. Like we went from having to use practical effects to now having the option to do click, 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 and it's there. Does it provide the same amount of impact? Depends on how well it's done.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It depends on how well the special effects CGI are done. If they're done very well,
like practical effects.
Yeah, if they're done very well, like someone spent time on it. I say it's just doing 2 clicks, but it's not. There's more to it that goes into it than that.
I say that to say it kind of bums me out when some people come in the comments and like, yeah, all this CGI crap is garbage nowadays, and if we just went back to practical effects and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, that's not necessarily the case. We have brought ourselves to a space in time where we could actually have the CGI so that we don't have to do the practical effects. It's all about the amount of effort, time, and energy that you're willing to put into the effect, regardless of what method you use. So I appreciate both sides of the coin.
Agreed.
I thought it was kind of wild that we jumped from like 1966 to
800,000.
Yeah, like we went a ways. I was like, well, what happened in between? It's like, slow that thing down. We had to take some pictures or something.
Well, it took him that long to get out of the mountain he was encased in.
That is true. But now, and I guess that's the beauty of this movie, is there's no bookend for it, because he has a time machine. He can go whenever. So he could move the machine here and there and
just do it over again and actually be able to see what was happening.
I don't know. It's a very cool concept. I think it can be easily broken if you poke a lot of holes in it, but that's just time travel in general. What did you think about the Morlocks, not the Murlocs?
What did I think about them, like, in general? Or?
I mean, like, I wasn't in love with the costume situation.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And it certainly was, freaky. It scared me a little bit. The eyes were a great touch. I really did appreciate that. So this is a hot take.
Okay.
I do think that it was funny that he was where the human race just constantly keeps trying to kill itself and, kill each other, and we're just finding newfangled ways to commit terrible
Depopulate
things.
the earth.
And then as soon as he got there, he was like, kill off this entire sect of humanity.
Well, they were the baddies.
I mean, but they were eating people. That's no good. They had essentially the Eloi enslaved. No good. But it tickled me that he kind of went against his own commentary from earlier. Not saying that I wouldn't have done the same. Yeah. It was like, okay, well, why didn't you try and talk to them? Sorry,
Did you hear any of them say a word and try to talk? Yeah, I did.
Which is interesting because they had the wherewithal and the ingenuity to maintain machines and all of this. I'm going too deep here.
Well, no, I don't. Well, maybe I am too, because I'm thinking, like, my main takeaway from the Morlocks and the Eloi was like a through message of basically never lose your critical thinking, like always be learning, or always never stop learning.
Yeah.
I think in some way the Morlocks, and the reason I'm gathering this is because they were using the air raid sirens to basically herd the people underground. So I'm assuming that they gleaned more information from the talking rings and like used that to subjugate and oppress the Eloi, because they did not read, or even whenever they did read or did hear the talking rings, they didn't think critically. They didn't learn from it, like you said.
Well, I mean, so the same can kind of be said for his friends.
Yeah.
Because, like, essentially not just necessarily just learning, but learning for learning's sake, inventing something for the sake of learning more. Like, he invented the time machine because he wanted to see what there was in the future. Like,
and if it's something he could bring back to his time to help.
Exactly. So not necessarily creating something or learning something for a super specific reason, but for the potential. I kind of get where you're going with that as far as like what they gleaned.
Like I said, I might be reading too far into that because the Morlock seemed like a very simplistic people.
And there was a part of me that was like, how did the Eloi just let themselves become? But they didn't. This wasn't like an overnight enslavement. This was generations of breeding and creating this ingrained apathy. So it's pretty effed up. Did you take any notes?
Yeah, just a few. A lot of the stuff we've already talked about just in general discussion. One of the things I liked, kind of a optimistic message, was when he was talking to Weena about man's past is just a grim struggle for survival, and he wanted to believe that, you know, we've had our dark ages before, but somebody has spoke up or somebody has risen up to guide us out of that darkness, and he's just in another dark age, and someone will come along to, because that's kind of like, it's a good message. It's very optimistic. I hope that's true, because I feel like that's kind of my view of life. Basically, like, everything comes and goes in waves. Like,
everything has its season.
Yeah,
you know?
It's only a matter of time before you start going back up. Yeah, that's most of the notes and everything. I bet there's somebody watching right now. I bet this movie is really relatable to, like, people who feel anachronistic. Like, they don't... They
kind of out of time.
They're out of time.
Yeah.
They're not in their right time period. Because I know people like that who are like, you know, I feel like I should have been born at this time or this. So I feel that this movie is probably, and the character of George is probably highly relatable from that point, because he's always talking about, I feel like I'm in the wrong time.
Overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this.
I'm interested to go read the book now. Like, I enjoy going off on a weird tangent type thing. Like, just the thought of the fourth dimension and time and what it actually is and how it works. And it's very interesting to me. Like, time in and of itself, probably relatable to everybody. Time at some points, like, it can feel like it drags on forever, or it can feel like it flies by in a blink of an eye. And it's just, why does that happen? How does that happen?
So I have a documentary for you to watch. It's not a documentary, it's like a docu-series. It's the Explained docu-series. They did one on time. And
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, one instance in particular, there is I forget what he is, what his profession is, but he basically did an experiment where he went down into a cave, like completely no light, no time telling information whatsoever, and like used his internal, circadian rhythm kind of clock to try and determine how long he'd been down there. You'll have to watch it. It's very interesting though, but like, essentially it talks about how we perceive time versus how it actually occurs, and how time occurs differently in different areas of space.
Yeah.
Like, it's really trippy. Like, I love it.
So yeah, as soon as he started talking about the fourth dimension and time and how it's experienced, I was in. But the last documentary I kind of watched on that was one on, I think it's on Netflix, called A Trip to Infinity.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's a good one.
But to kind of piggyback on that, there are certain concepts and scenes, scenarios that I think are so much more easily consumed via the written word as opposed to a video medium.
Okay.
Like, there are certain things, like, to explain it. Somebody actually mentioned this in the Mouth of Madness video. If you read the book, the book version of this is so much more interesting because you can imagine the unimaginable things.
Yeah.
When they're presented to you on a screen, you're seeing it.
Yeah.
And it creates almost a a sense of like you want to poke holes in that because it's a visual representation of it. If it's happening in your brain, then it seems more engrossing, like real. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
So that's kind of the way I'm feeling about reading this book. Like, I think it would be the same kind of, because even though they did a great job with the model work, with the practical effects and everything, there is still a certain something that is lacking in it that would be different had I read it first, I think.
I guess we'll see. All right, well, let's go to ratings. You go first, as usual.
As I said, I really enjoyed this. I like an older movie. That's kind of something that I'm starting to realize. I'm going to give this one an 8.5. Okay. What about you?
8 for me.
Okay. Pippin. I love it when he basically like, but in a purr.
Yeah, what?
What would you rate this one? Oh, was that? Okay. 10 time machine beans.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That's a good rating. All right. Well, there you have 8.5. 8. 10 time machine beans. Oh, you gave me kisses. You're such a sweet baby. You guys let us know. This is one of those that neither of us have seen. So if you have any background information, any fun trivia, behind the scenes tidbits, we'd love to hear about those. So drop those in the comments. Let us know. What would you have rated this one? And based on how we appreciated it, what would you suggest we watch in the future? Which is now. Time. You guys tell us if you liked it or not by, liking the video. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. We greatly appreciate it. That's all I've got. You have anything else?
I'm good.
Pippin, you good? Cool beans. You guys take care. We will see you next time with another first time. Bye.